Hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome back to Cryptic Corner, where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. Today, I am going to go down memory lane. Okay, so I want everybody to come along with me on this journey, okay? It's 2001. You're chilling on your computer. You got your latest Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park stuff downloaded on your LimeWire over here, right? And in another tab, because you only got one screen, it's 19, or not 19, sorry, it's 2001. And then you come across, and you're like really like looking into spooky stuff, right? You're like really into like being spooky. That was your thing, girl. That was my thing back then. Anyway, so I'm looking into the world of cryptozoology back then, and there was a current event kind of story, and it was not only that, this cryptid had body counts. It was killing people. Yes, Disturbed is downloading. Down with the sickness. And some corn. Yeah, I was really into nu metal. You all can judge me. I still like nu metal. So, kiss my butt. That's my generation's music. And I would still wear Jinkos if I could. I loved my big baggy Jinkos. Actually, I was looking at some different bell bottoms and stuff. I like bell bottoms. So I might get some bell bottoms. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. Yes, LimeWire. Yeah, but one of the main things that was the reason I liked the goth thing too is because I got to do makeup, which, you know, in any other subculture or whatever I wouldn't have been able to do. But because I was a goth kid, I got to put on not a lot of makeup, but some black lipstick and eyeliner and stuff. It was fun. It was a phase, I guess, but it was part of who I am. So yeah. Anyway, that's the kid. Yeah, I think I had a mohawk at the time. That was red. I've had a few different hairstyles too, like wild stuff. There are pictures of me somewhere on the internet as a boy, pre-transition, right? With a mohawk, all with my makeup all done, playing guitar. I think there's some videos of it too, somewhere out there. But yeah, I was really into this like dark. Yeah, I was listening to Marilyn Manson and shit like that. Exactly. It was like this whole, and the cryptozoology stuff and the 14 stuff really tied into that. And I started hanging out with the Wiccans, and I think that's about the time I was really hanging out with a little Wiccan coven. I was never officially like initiated into it, but we hung out with them, and we went to their to their bigger events at their circles and stuff. Yeah, I did watch Danny Phantom. I was a little bit old for Danny Phantom, but I watched it anyway. I was born in '83, so a lot of my stuff is the '90s. The early 2000s was more like a teenager, as far as cartoons and stuff go. Because when you're a teenager, you're too cool for cartoons. The only cartoons I watched as a teenager was like Adult Swim, so I watched like Family Guy and stuff like that. I didn't watch children's cartoons. I watch children's cartoons now. Yes, I wanted to be one of the girls from The Crafts so bad. But I'm glad I didn't, because I know damn well that I would turn into Nancy if I was in The Craft. I would turn into Nancy. Don't give me those powers. Yeah, I did watch Moral Oral, at least a few episodes of it. I appreciate I'm a big stop motion nerd, so yeah, definitely. I like Ray Harryhausen. I love his work. So, and I grew up with like Gumby, so there's a nostalgia value to that too, to claymation. And we should talk about that sometime in more detail, because I'd love to sit down and talk about paleontology's ties to stop motion animation. Nice correlation there. I have a little clip show that I do where I play over me and Aaron Raw talking about old-timey dinosaur depictions. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent here because today we're going down a different route of nostalgia because this came from overseas, right? This was something that I only got in translation, right? Where are we at? Oh, there it was. Yeah. All right. So, and that was the Monkey Man of New Delhi. Yeah, Monkey Man causes panic across Delhi. This came through. I was really big into this board called Unexplained Mysteries. It was a forum back in the day of forums. I had my own forum too. My forum was about animals though, but not well, kind of like Bree's Beast Theory. But we argued about interspecies interactions and stuff and ecology. Really, I think it was riveting and exciting stuff, and we brought papers, but other people might find it boring. But this forum, Unexplained Mysteries, a little bit before that, I started really getting into the animal forums more, was like my first real romp on internet forums, right? And it's been, I started like messing around on there like, what is it, like 99, 98 or 99. So I have a long history on there from when I was a teenager. Now, as this story was unfolding, there were a lot of speculations among the people on the forums. I actually went and tried to look and see if those were archived somewhere, but I couldn't find them. All the different breakdowns and you know, one of my first experiences really sleuthing into a cryptid report, because I remember taking Hindi, I guess, or what's the Pujali? Is that what do they speak? It's in New Delhi, so it's in eastern India. So it was Pujali. Is that where that's the primary language? Somebody who knows better than me. But anyway, I don't know what the language I was translating was, but it's first time. And back then, you didn't just have the highlight, right click, translate. You had to like plug it into a translator. Yeah, you had to actually plug it in and translate it word by word sometimes, or they would have big sections of words that wouldn't translate right because the translators back then were terrible. Or depend on like third-hand accounts. But this is one of the ones where I was like, the first time where I got like international news directly as it was happening about a cryptid, and I investigated it and looked into it and followed the reports and kept the reports, and kept a file of them and talked about it and argued with it with my fellow cryptid sleuths, and it was a good time. And I was a believer back then too, so it really changed the way that that I approached encounters, and you're going to see why as I unfold this story here, okay? So hang in there with me. Punjabi, is that what I said? What I say? Punjabi, that's right. I'm really bad at sometimes. Well, I try though. You'll always see me try to say things right, even if I fail. I have a big fat tongue, yeah, which has its benefits, but yeah. Anyway. Delhi, I'm pretty sure most people use basic Hindi. Okay, so it was probably Hindi. I think it was Hindi. We're going to look at some videos where people are speaking Hindi too. So, I mean, this is what we're going to look at in a second here. But I'm going to read this. Residents in Delhi were last night bracing themselves for another night of fear and sleeplessness following a series of bizarre attacks by the Indian capital's answer to a very nasty horror film, The Mysterious Monkey Man. All right, this gets really weird, so if you got a seatbelt right now, it'd be a good time to buckle up. All right, and this is from The Guardian, so it's like not like some obscure magazine. It's from The Guardian, and at the time, this was live reporting in 2001. That's when the story's from. You can see it. I guess y'all can't because it's behind there, but you can see 2001 on the address bar. All right. The Monkey Man, who is between 4 and 5 feet tall, has a monkey-like face and strikes between midnight and 4 a.m., has pounced on almost 20 victims during the past 5 days, leaving them with deep scratches, marks, and gouges on their arms and necks. The police have received complaints from people sleeping on the roof or in the open near the city slums. He is also elusive, slipping away into the darkness after his attacks. We're gonna look at the city slums too. Don't worry. We're gonna do a full dive into this. So if this is the first time hearing about this, or if this brings nostalgia to you, let me know in the side chat. If you remember this from 2001, back before 9/11, right before 9/11. That's one thing I remember about this. It was like the weeks leading up to 9/11, because that's when the forum I was on flipped. Because you can imagine, Mysteries of the Unexplained forum within from 9/11 on for the next fucking 20 years. That's all it was, right? So, nostalgia 100%, says Ross Dog. I'm with ya, Ross Dog. Broken spirit. Well, we're broken spirits together. We're kindred spirits because we have the same memories of this time period. Yeah, right before the very last days of a more innocent time in America, for me anyway. Because everything changed after, everybody familiar with the way our culture shifted, and racism became acceptable again, but only against people of Middle Eastern descent, and it was largely accepted, but accepted by the government and by the media. But I won't dive into that. I had a freaking spat on Facebook about talking about the post 9/11 Muslim archetype. So if you're on Facebook, you can go look that up. I freaking get into it with a few people about it, because I don't play with racism at all. Like even when I was just even describing racism that happened, that I was in the presence of, I apologize for it. When I'm describing it, if the people are, I'm like, yeah, that's I'm sorry that I brought to your attention that this happened in my life. And a lot of people don't realize what it's like when you grow up in a small rural town. That's why the internet was so important to my development as a person and moving me away from that. Because I grew up in a small rural town, right? Predominantly white. We had a small town, 3,000 some people, and there were a couple of black families, maybe. Not many. I didn't have any in my grade. Of the 78 kids, none of them were a person of color. Not a single one. Just to give a kind of perspective. It was a small class. But yeah, there were within the school, but just not in the grade that I was in. But we were a really small class too. Anyway, so I grew up in that culture, right? So getting stuff like this was the first time I was able to interact with a bigger world. Being on the internet in 2000, from 1996 to 2000, let's say to 2001 was a different time, and a great time to be a teenager, because all the porn. But I digress. Yes, when you're a teenager with libido, it was a great time to be alive. Anyway, let's move on with this story. Where was I? All right. Some victims say he wears a helmet. Others insist that that he sports metal claws and has shaggy black hide and possibly roller skates. At least one man has died after tumbling off a building in panic when his neighbor cried, "The monkey man is here." That's the body count I was talking about, right, by the way. Despite the sightings, however, police remain unsure whether he is, in fact, a monkey. We contacted the Dheli Zoo. Authorities and experts say that no simian would ever attack without provocation. Suresh Roy, Delhi's Joint Police Commissioner, said, "We have conducted a medical examination of the victims and nothing concrete has been found." The doctor says the bites are animal bites and not from a human. Mr. Roy said, but there are some people who have also said that the person used iron claws and teeth. The monkey man began his reign of terror at the weekend in the poor colony of East Delhi, or poor colonies of East Delhi. He has since struck so many times across the Capitol that some officers now believe that there could be more than one monkey man, or shall we say, dare we say, monkey men. Youths, I guess I thought the plural of youth was youth. I know that when Joe Pesci says it, it's Utes. 2 Utes. And My Cousin Vinny. Youth armed with axes and sticks, meanwhile, have started patrolling the streets. The right-wing Hindi activists have taken up strategic positions with swords and scimitars. Freaking people getting swords out to fight the monkey man. What? Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, I remember chatting on AOL. Yes, I do. I moved from AOL to Yahoo chat about the same time, about right around 2000. But before that, I was on AOL for a long time. And then there was the CTR or something that was that I had somebody load on the computer for me because I wasn't smart enough to figure it out. But yeah, y'all are bringing me way back to the olden days, back to the golden days. The irony of Hindus trying to fight Hanuman like monkey man. Yeah, right. And we covered Hanuman on a video previously, because there was we did a video in the theory. What was it called back then? I think it was still Creation Watch back then. But we covered this the theory that that Hanuman were Neanderthals or Denisovans. Yeah, we talked about that theory. So yeah, you can look that up. But let's wrap this article up. Where are we? Okay. The creature had its hands on my thigh when I woke up. It looked like a langur, a type of monkey. Eunice, who lived in the suburb of Krishnan Nagar, said last night, when Rahina, my mother, picked up a broomstick, it jumped out of the balcony. Dheli residents, it seems, are not the first victims of this phenomena. A scratcher known as Spring-Heeled Jack appeared in London in 1837. He too had ironclad fingers, glowing eyes, and wore dark clothes and scratched his victims. He was never found. We will talk about Spring-Heeled Jack at some point, I'm sure. So just you wait and see. We're going to bring it up. All right, before we get too far into things, though, let's look at this district. All right, so this is the area that this is happening in. All this area right here. You can see I got it outlined. All right. Now, keep in mind, this is freaking New Delhi. So it's huge, absolutely enormous. So make no mistake, this is a big old city. And it spans well beyond the borders that define the metropolis, right? The influence does. Goes down the river. Goes all the way, literally all the way up the river. Both sides. Yeah, look at that. It's a big city. Right, there's the Himalayas, just to give you... Or is that the Hindu Kush? I think that's the Hindu Kush. Himalayas are over there. Anyway, regardless, it's a massive monster city. What did I click on? I clicked somewhere wrong. Oh no. Yeah, here we go. All right, so, but this is the district where our monkey guy was attacking. Now we're looking at it in modern times, so grain of salt, but let's find a good area to drop down in. I'm trying to find where I was, because there's a lot to see. Mostly I want to take note of how much they need an electrician union, but that's kind of scary. Right, yeah, so this, like, if you look at how the city's constructed, like a gibbon a chimp, an orangutan, they're going to have a heyday in this type of environment. I just think we might find one of them dead. But look at that. It's kind of funny. We're talking about Hanuman, right? Look, right there. That's a Hanuman. Am I right? Yes, that definitely is a Hanuman. That might be, what's his name? The king. The Monkey King. Sumami, you got my back on this one. What's the Monkey King's name? Girls always got my back on this mythology stuff. When it comes to Asian mythology, I usually ask Sumami. But yeah, if you travel through here, I mean, you can see how jumping from rooftop to rooftop, swinging on power lines and clotheslines, balcony to balcony, clambering down the sides of buildings, maybe jumping on people to steal food, because cities are usually kind of a food desert, right? Like slums, I guess I should say. And I'm not being derogatory. That's what these regions are called, slums. There's some areas that are just called the slums. Up in here. But yeah, so I just wanted to make sure you all knew I wasn't being like derogatory. These regions, that's where the word slums come from, is these tightly packed buildings. Hanuman, kind of the Monkey King. I thought Hanuman was the race and they had a king. Wukong, that sounds more like it. That's Chinese though, isn't it? Am I in the wrong mythos? Am I thinking of the wrong mythology? So yeah, it's pretty urban, right? Let's see if this is like a park here or what. What are we dealing with? Ooh, yeah. There's a nice park. See, it's not all run down and stuff. I don't know what it was like in the 90s now. I mean, take that to mind as well, but currently at least they have some, looks like some modern infrastructure going on. Oh, good. I was worried that the whole area that these like the kids wouldn't have anything like this. I'm so glad to see that they can balance that out. Just based on the infrastructure I'd seen in these more rugged neighborhoods around the area, especially up in here. Like, it doesn't look like the infrastructure is doing all great, but I don't know. It's not, I mean, it's just a different kind of culture too, having the paper advertisements and stuff on the. It's kind of rustic and cute to me, but anyway. Leaving this, let's go. So this is a news report. It's in Hindi, so we're not going to be able to understand what they're saying. But
कांदिवली से पहले मुंबई के मरोल इलाके में भी मंकी मैन की दहशत ने लोगों की नींद उड़ा रखी थी। कांदिवली में तो मंकी मैन के डर से रात को भगदड़ सी मची, लेकिन मुंबई के मरोल में तो मंकी मैन की दहशत का आलम कुछ ज्यादा ही
you can hear him say monkey man every couple of seconds.
यहाँ दहशत इतनी ज्यादा है कि लोग रातों का सोना छोड़कर सड़कों पर टहलते रहे।
This is them marching around prepared for battle.
मुंबई के मरोल इलाके के लोग देर रात गहरी नींद।
I'm just going to mute it because we can't hear it. But yeah, they're, you know, got their bashing sticks. Now, in this district, I guess it's common for the men of the household to sleep up on the roof. And they spend a lot more time on their roofs than we do in like more Western societies. Which is a waste of space, I think. Having every building should be built with like a rooftop patio or something that can be used, or at least have some solar panels or something. A garden up there would be great. Something like that. But they actually do that in India. A lot of gardens on the roof. A lot of plants on the roof. But these guys are acting just the same way that anybody else does when there's a cryptid sighting. We saw this when we saw the Peruvian face peelers. You can see this when you look at the newspaper reports of the Mothman or any other cryptid. It's the common mass hysteria reaction, the mad gasser of Mattoon that we talked about just a couple weeks ago. Another case that's very similar to this in the matter of mass hysteria. These people show wounds, though, that the monkey man inflicted upon them, allegedly. I mean, I don't know how deep the hoax goes, if it's indeed a hoax. Was there a gibbon or some kind on the loose? I don't know. Yeah. Good evening, Mark. Lurk and listen. Right now we're silent because the...
पेड़ों पर बल्ब लगा दिए गए हैं।
Unless
लोगों
somebody
का
can
मानना है
translate
कि
this
जिन
for
घरों
me.
के पास पेड़ और झाड़ियां हैं, वह
But, yeah, it's a lot of stock footage of people hanging around. I thought there was a part in this where they were showing where they got attacked. This might be the wrong one. Let's see. Yeah, I'm done with that one. Yeah, here's one of the reports from back in the day from strangemag.com, another place where I used to romp around for information on the weird and wonderful. This picture has made the rounds, though. Here. Alright, so, yeah. This is the illustration, drawing of the monkey man that appeared in the Indian newspaper. Yeah, they give him a motorcycle helmet. Sometimes he's on roller skates. Isn't that wonderful? But we're going to watch this Stupid Beyond Belief video about it, because they kind of get nostalgia for it, too.
beyond belief.
Residents in Delhi last night were bracing themselves for another night of fear and sleeplessness following a series of bizarre attacks by the Indian capital's answer to a very nasty horror film, The Mysterious Monkey Man. This is from The Guardian on May 18th, 2001. During the early summer of 2001, the residents of New Delhi, India, were thrown into an uproar over reports of a mysterious 4-foot-tall figure with thick hair and sharp metal claws.
They put like 4 scratches there, so you know it's like Freddy Krueger claws and not Wolverine claws. So this was not an attack by Wolverine, in case anybody was wondering.
A 2003 issue of the Indian Journal of Medical Sciences looked into the strange phenomenon.
I actually wrote a horrible song about this when I was in my rock star days. You forgot to feed your space monkey. Broke his chain and then you set him free.
Known as the alleged Monkey Man, attributing it to an instance of mass hysteria. From May 10th to May 25th, 397 reports were made to the New Delhi police of a monkey-like creature, or something similarly bizarre.
You gonna talk about the roller skates?
The majority of the reports claimed of an ape-like creature, sometimes 3 foot tall and sometimes 6 feet tall, or anywhere in between. He was said to have a thick, hairy mat of fur and glowing red eyes. He was reported to have Freddy Krueger-esque claws, and at times was thought to be
Freddy Krueger-esque claws, see? Told ya. They think the monkey man was Freddy Krueger.
wearing a leather jacket, donning a motorbike helmet, or even wearing rollerblades.
Wait, I'm hearing some conflicting stories. Was it roller skates or roller blades? Who reported the roller skates or roller blades? They're mostly these attacks happened on the rooftop to people sleeping. So I don't know if roller blades would be efficient on a rooftop. Can you do rooftop parkour with roller blades in a monkey suit? If you can, like hell yeah, dude. Why you doing that instead of making money doing rooftop parkour in a monkey suit? At night. No. I have thoughts.
These reports were made seriously and in complete earnest, and a near 95% of them were made from the impoverished neighborhood of East New Delhi. The police contacted Delhi zoo authorities, and experts say that no simian would ever attack without provocation. They conducted medical examinations on a portion of the victims, but claimed that nothing concrete had been found.
Does who'd you say, Mr. Ross? Does he know that chimpanzees exist? And they will freaking kill you and eat you? without provocation when you're walking through their territory or near their territory? You want to stream my song? No, I have a SoundCloud full of all kinds of awful old stuff. Nothing from when I was actually in. Well, there might be some videos somewhere of us playing. I'd have to look. Yeah.
Found. The first obvious assumption was that the figure was a local hairy man mistaken for a monster, and the dense eastern slums of New Delhi made pursuing the figure at night near impossible.
If it's a hairy man who's parkouring across the city at night, I still want to give props to that dude. That sounds dangerous as hell. All those electric lines and things draped everywhere. Dude must be like a pro athlete, with or without the hair.
Police Commissioner Suresh Roy would claim that local doctors advised him that they are bites from an animal and not that of a man. He would also claim in a 2009 episode of Monster Quest that he dispatched 3,000 officers during the panic and seemed to take everything at complete face value.
Yeah, Monster Quest kind of sculpted any story into something intriguing and potentially convincing if you take the way Monster Quest reports it at face value. Harmonica. Yeah, I think there's one of me doing Hurt with a harmonica.
Creative take on the story, you can check out the 45-minute long episode that dramatizes some portions considerably and fails to mention the mass hysteria theory. More reputable sources like The Guardian cover the story and the account of a boy named Jonas living in the suburb of Krishna Nagar. His version comes off as less sensationalized and provides a far more reasonable explanation to the phenomenon.
Okay.
The creature had its hands on my thighs when I woke up. It looked like a langur, Jonas recalled. When Rahena, my mother, picked up a broomstick.
Do langurs live in Delhi? Tame langur keeps monkeys away at Delhi Zoo.
It jumped out of the balcony. A langur is an old world primate native to the Indian continent, but only maxes out around 31 inches, or about 2.5 feet, not fitting any of the police descriptions that were between 3 and 6 feet. Another long-shot explanation would be an extremely displaced western Hulak gibbon, the only ape native to India, although it typically only maxes out around 35 inches. And now, a clip from Monster Quest depicting the same monkey man.
Yeah, they make it look like it's a big hulking thing.
As absurd as this all seemed, the city was truly gripped with fear. The injuries shown on clips from Monster Quest are admittedly not just a light scratch. They appear pretty vicious.
Yeah.
Otherworldly, however, not likely.
Alright. So, I do like the gibbon theory and think that makes a lot of sense for how this thing was moving across rooftops at night. Now, wearing a leather jacket and a motorcycle helmet? Wearing roller skates? No. Oh, wow. Just the thought of it. A gibbon. With a gibbon, it has to be a gibbon-sized motorcycle helmet. They have tiny heads. You'd have to get like an infant-sized motorcycle helmet for it. And then a jacket. Have you seen the proportions of a gibbon's arms into its body, right? So you're making it into some motorcycle jacket that actually the sleeves are long enough and everything on it that actually fit it right and it can move. It's going to be disproportionate to anything you make for a human. Now, langurs have much shorter arms in proportion to their body. And this definitely could have been a langur. A big langur bounding around on the rooftops sounds about right. And I'm reading here that yeah, people do use langurs actually as pest deterrents for macaques. Yeah. Langur monkey is much larger and more aggressive than its smaller rhesus macaque, the smaller rhesus macaque, and have long been used in the past by authorities to scare off marauding gangs of the latter. Live langurs were rented and put on duty in the Commonwealth Games and were held in New Delhi in 2010. Yeah, so I mean, they're like police monkeys that they use these days. Let me show you. I keep going to the Guardian. Is that weird? It's just what coming up. Stop. Yeah. Dheli uses cutouts of menacing langurs to deter rhesus monkeys ahead of the games. Yeah. And this is like a historical practice in the region to use langurs to stop monkeys, but to stop rhesus monkeys, which are macaques. So, keeping that in mind, right? Let's continue on.
Out of the total reported cases, 60 of them claimed serious injuries. 2 individuals had even died in the panic, with a suspected third. The important distinction is that both confirmed deaths came from residents suspecting they saw something and falling off rooftops and down staircases while attempting to flee.
Yeah, that does happen when there's mass hysteria.
The academic journal, published in 2003, seems to debunk the major points of the tale at every step of the way. One of the journal's conclusions was that among the injuries observed, they were only possible with a blunt or pointed object, seemingly excluding any possibility of a rollerblading monkey man.
Every time they say rollerblading monkey man, I remember the story being roller skates. I don't remember it being rollerblades. Because at the time, rollerblades were popular. I was like, bringing the roller skates back. Because I still used roller skates because I was old-fashioned like that. And we had a little skating rink built in our basement. It was kind of cool. I was a really good skater when I was a kid. Roller skater. Because we turned our basement into a little skating rink. It's pretty awesome. Nostalgia. This is the morning of Nostalgia Road for Bree.
89% of the cases were from individuals of a low socioeconomic status and low education, with a near majority of them being adult males. New Delhi was also in the midst of a brutal heat wave, and it was common cultural practice for the men in the house to sleep outside on their rooftops. The journal also illuminated the...
But I don't think this is the type of neighborhood that it was happening in. I think this was the type of neighborhood we were looking at before.
Interesting coincidence that 67% of the cases reported were during a citywide rolling blackout, implemented to save power in the poor eastern part of the city.
So that's messed up, right? They turned, when the heat wave gets too bad, they turn the power grid off in the poor district to make sure that the other districts can, or at least they did in 2001, could keep their air on.
Many of the cases were reported from men who had been directly woken out of their sleep, claiming to see the monkey man figure despite their pitch black surroundings and abrupt awakening. As for what actually attacked these men, that remains a strange mystery. Likely explanations call for a human man attempting to burglarize homes, or an overgrown primate that was particularly aggressive. The journal would deduct that a few factors likely led to the curious phenomenon known as mass hysteria. A few attacks were initially reported...
Yeah, that's where I am on this too, it's mass hysteria, but I don't doubt that there wasn't one of these guard langurs that got out and was roaming around the rooftops during the blackout. That would not surprise me. Like maybe it even had like a cage with electromagnetic lock on it or something that they kept it in, and it got out because of the blackout. Boom! It goes on and jumps out onto the roof and starts swinging jumping from roof to roof, or swinging from roof to roof, as a monkey is wont to do.
And taken entirely serious by the local police, and the wave of belief spread like an infection. None of the victims saw anything concrete, and the initial attack descriptions are incredibly vague, not necessarily pointing to a primate. However, the press would take the story and run wild with it. Once the first news report hit that claimed a monkey man was responsible, every further report became monkey man related.
Monkey man's coming for ya.
Even within the framework of a monkey man, the description among reports
beware the monkey man. This is when it hit me because of this. Because of the way it was reported like this. Bam! Bree's getting fed this directly. This story live as it's happening. I guess not live so much as it would be now, but live within days of the event. I was up to date on the monkey business. See what I did there?
To differ dramatically. Sometimes it is completely covered in fur. Sometimes it's not. He is sometimes 3 feet tall and incredibly fast. Sometimes 6 feet tall and incredibly strong. Sometimes he wears a leather jacket and rollerblades. And on a rare night, you may just catch him in a motorcycle helmet. The journals...
Now the escaped Langer guard, the escaped Langer guard or pet Langer or whatever on the bound across the rooftops does not go with the motorcycle helmet, though. I don't think anybody's going to be putting a motorcycle helmet or roller skates on their monkey. And I don't know how you'd be able to see it had roller skates in the dark. Maybe you could hear them. You think you'd hear the roller skates rolling up to you? Because roller skates are loud, especially on non-smooth surfaces like a rooftop. You'd be like, even for a monkey with little tiny feet. Were they monkey-sized roller skates?
Most damning point was that once the press began floating the idea it was a hoax, all reports of monkey man attacks halted immediately. One of the defining aspects of mass hysteria is the sudden acquiring and dropping of symptoms, seemingly on a dime. It was almost as if the press had created the monkey man overnight and took him out to pasture a few months later when the story went stale. The myth bears some similarities to a few popular pieces of folklore, namely Spring-Heeled Jack from Victorian England.
All right.
A story
We're
deserving
not going to talk about Spring-Heeled Jack, though, because Spring-Heeled Jack is for another day. I guess I'll let you touch on it.
own focus. He was a
Is
dark
that
figure
Germania?
draped in a leather jacket, donning sharp, pointed claws and glowing red eyes, and occasionally...
Germania is like the monkey man of my chat. So it's kind of peculiar that they showed up now, isn't it? They're leaping around the chat, scratching people. Yeah? Do you own a pair of roller skates, Germania? That's what I want to know.
wearing a helmet. Spring-Heeled Jack was believed to be able to leap
I mean, I already know you have a helmet.
incredible distances, rooftop to rooftop.
And you definitely have a leather jacket. You're way too cool not to have a leather jacket.
Instilled a fair amount of terror into Victorian England, supposedly scratching his victims along the way.
This music is really getting me going.
Closer to home was the instance of marble statues of Hindu deities all across India becoming alive in September 1995, developing an unquenchable thirst for milk. It ultimately proved to be a case of porous stone and siphon theory in action, delivering the milk to nearby gutters.
That's what a lot of statue stuff is.
It's clear to reason that these stories are the result of mass hysteria and a good hoax. But just in case they're not, maybe don't sleep on the roof anytime soon.
I bet there's people sleeping on the roof right now because it's way hotter now than it was in 2001. Way hotter now. Yeah. So that was our Monkey Man. Did you know the Monkey Man? had you been aware of the Monkey Man? And yeah, I think this is a current event report, right? From the Monkey Man, yeah. I'm trying to see if we get a report of it actually saying it was wearing roller skates. That's what I want to see. But yeah, here's all the sources for it. Look, the Hindustan Times, the Mainichi Shimbun, the Daily Pioneer, the Times of India. 3 factors, third world city. Yeah, but... One doctor was arrested on May 19th after having scared a neighbor by throwing down an inflated surgical glove which had been smeared with brown hair dye. What the hell? How is that related to the Monkey Man at all? How is that? And you get arrested for that? For painting a... Well, I guess it's littering. I can imagine it being littering, but... The whole drama was very carefully enacted by the antisocial element who wanted to test the nerve of the Delhi police. It's saying it's mischief makers. And mischief mongers is the one they use. Mischief mongers. Well, mischief managed because you went down in history. Whoever's doing this. A 9-year-old named Arjun Bajaj believes the Monkey Man is a black masked fellow with springs in his shoes and a button which he uses to vanish. Bajaj admits to thinking that perhaps the first one was the doctor with the glove, but it is frightened of others like him. So that's like a Predator, right? Description. It had a button that could vanish. It's like Predator. Did this kid watch Predator? What was it? 2001. So there's Predator and Predator 2 out at this time. So could have watched either one of those and seen, especially Predator 2, because Predator 2 is in an urban environment, right? And he jumps from rooftop to rooftop. So that's, and he's in a slum region of LA. Mass confusion, yeah. That's what most informed conclusions come to. Anyway, what do you think about the Monkey Man? Do you think that was like a real phenomena that happened? Do you think it was a hoax? Do you think it was perpetrated by people? Do you think someone with a pet linger let it get out? Or do you think that it got out on its own when they're in the blackouts and went running amok doing shenanigans? What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below because I want to know your opinion on this. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we'll see you next time.